Most of the nation is still locked in the deep freeze tonight. A polar vortex that swept south is holding sway, claiming at least 30 lives and keeping the power off for nearly 3.4 million people. Stephanie Sy begins our coverage.
All across the country, Americans grappled with a historic Arctic weather system for another long day.
It's so cold in the house, you can see my breath.
And a new round of winter weather threatened to engulf the southern and eastern parts of the country. The extreme conditions have left more than 100 million people under some type of winter storm warning or advisory.
Nothing.
And states from Nevada to Mississippi are still struggling with power outages after rolling blackouts were imposed. In hardest hit Texas,
power will not be restored fully, I would say, probably for another couple of days.
Warming centers have been set up to help those without heat.
It's 20 degrees now, which has warmed up. Yesterday, when I left my apartment at the retirement community, it was 1 degree.
80-year-old Willie Peterson hasn't had consistent power at his home on the outskirts of Dallas since last weekend.
On a personal level, I have done well. My kids care about me. I can manage for myself. But there are lots of people in our area who do not have choices. So the sadness for me is not personal. It's caring about these folks who were already marginalized, and they can't go check into a hotel. They don't have relationships where they can go and sleep on someone's sofa.
Peterson is staying at his son's house, which has also been a refuge for others, housing up to 8 people. But right before we spoke with him, his son's house also lost power.
This is our neighborhood.
For Greta Griffin Hurd, a single mother in Lake Dallas, the worry is for her daughter Maya.
What am I going to feed her? You can't cook anything, electricity. So you're hoping you have enough in your cupboard that you can, because you don't know how long this is going to last.
The temperatures have overwhelmed power grids in Texas and sparked misleading claims about what is to blame, including from the state's governor.
Our wind and our solar got shut down, and they were collectively more than 10% of our power grid. It just shows that fossil fuel is necessary.
Abbott later clarified that natural gas and coal generators also went down. In fact, natural gas, coal, and nuclear energy were responsible for nearly twice as many outages as renewable energy sources. Meanwhile, some COVID vaccination sites in Texas have closed, and in places like Georgia, the weather has delayed vaccine shipments. This as heavy ice and snow is expected from the Gulf up to New England over the next few days.
We now turn to 2 mayors managing this storm's impact. Mayor David Holt of Oklahoma City is joining us, as well as Mayor Harry LaRoselliere of Plano, Texas. Mr. Mayors, thank you so much for joining the NewsHour. Mr. LaRoselliere, I want to start with you. Describe what you're seeing in Plano, Texas today. The biggest obstacles, is it still extremely dangerous for folks there?
Yes, it is. Really what we're finding is that we're not prepared for this type of a weather event from a state level and really from a city level. I think to clean up the streets and for people to feel safe out and about is challenging. And then the extreme pressure on our energy grid has created quite a bit of outages. And so we had up to 60,000 homes that were experiencing outages at the beginning, and it's down to about 14,000. There's still too many people that are in their homes and uncomfortable and not substandard living conditions.
And Mayor Holt, I know there in Oklahoma City, you're also experiencing power outages. Yesterday, you had a temperature below minus 14 degrees, which set a record that hasn't been set since 1899. You also have your governor who is asking for a federal declaration, a disaster declaration for all the counties there. What are the biggest challenges for you there in Oklahoma City?
Well, I think four things come to mind. Water. We have got 30 line breaks across our city. We've got usage that is double what it would normally be this time of year. So between the high usage and the water breaks, we've got low pressure across the city. So we're trying to manage that. And the breaks obviously come from the preposterously low temperatures that you just referred to. I think the second thing is the energy grid, and Mayor Harry referred to that just now. That's obviously been an issue. The electric utility is separate from the city, and we're fully aware now that it's subject to a multi-state, governance. But that's something that it definitely affected us on Tuesday with rolling blackouts across the city. We're also dealing with, people sleeping outside and those experiencing homelessness. And as a community, we spent days, if not weeks, preparing for that. And so I'm pleased that there's enough capacity, and there's a lot of people trying to get out there to bring those people indoors. Unfortunately, we had our first fatality in Oklahoma City earlier today, and so that was what we had feared. We hope that that's the last one. And then the last thing are the roads. We're a 620 square mile city. It is very difficult, obviously, for us to plow the roads. We focus on snow routes. But I would say, fortunately, to this point, our residents have largely stayed home. That's what we've asked them to do. That's partly why our water usage is so high. But they have stayed home, and we haven't yet really encountered what could be a very problematic situation as this drags on.
Mayor LaRussiliere, I want to follow up on this power grid issue in Texas. I spoke to Texans today, including an 80-year-old man who have been for days without power in sub-zero temperatures or sub-freezing temperatures. Who do you hold accountable for that?
I think any elected official, including myself, that's not focusing on a solution right now is not using our time effectively. We have plenty of time to do the recount of what went wrong and what could have done better, and ascribe the responsibility to the right party. But for now, I'm just focused on helping our citizens.
Mayor Holt, I know Oklahoma is also a big energy producing state. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and others have used this moment to say that renewable energy sources are not reliable. I wonder what you think about those that are using this moment to make that point, which isn't really borne out with the facts here. The fact is oil, gas, and nuclear all went offline during this storm.
Yeah, well, oil and gas have always been a big part of Oklahoma City's economy, and obviously we support those energy sources. But we've also been a community that has embraced wind. There's a lot of wind in Oklahoma, and our local utility provider, OG&E, uses wind to a great extent. Wind has been challenged in this particular situation because the turbines literally, froze in place. But I don't think that necessarily is something that would cause you to abandon a diverse energy, resource, because not every situation is going to be this one. This was a once in a generation lowering of temperatures combined with massive snow. We don't see that kind of weather mix here in Oklahoma very often.
Mayor LaRussiliere, you mentioned solutions, and climate change experts say we should expect more of these extreme weather events. I wonder if this experience has made you think cities do need to be built to be more resilient against these extreme weather incidents.
Absolutely. We've taken proactive measures here in Plano to be more resilient and be prepared for weather events such as this, but certainly not to this extent. This is way past what we actually have prepared for, but it does speak to more of a regional and state level coordination that's required in order for these type of events that seem to be happening more frequently be addressed in a more coordinated manner.
Mayor Holt, what about you? Do cities need to be built to be more resilient against climate change?
Well, if for a place like Oklahoma City, that means we need to be more prepared for this not to be a once in a generation event and that it's going to have to be more common, then yes. I mean, we really probably need to get some pretty smart people around a table to tell us that this is going to happen more often, because otherwise we probably wouldn't over prepare. We're probably not going to build a city that is ready to have sub-zero temperatures for a week every year. That would be too expensive. Our taxpayers wouldn't want to do that. They'd rather just muddle through once every 20 years a situation like this. But if it's going to happen more often, I obviously cities like ours are going to have some tough conversations. And it seems like the last few years, I can admit that we are using the phrase 50-year storm or once in a generation event more and more often.
Well, we certainly hope that the residents of both of your cities get through this current storm and that we don't have more of these extreme weather events. Mayor David Holt of Oklahoma City and Mayor Harry LaRosiliere of Plano, Texas. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.